welcome. Welcome and welcome again. Welcome to the Wise Women Do podcast interview series. I'm your host, Pamela McKinney, and we are produced by Linda J. Thomas. This is a space where we speak to business minded women and the men that support them to be enlightened by their adversities in business and that we all face. But in their journey, we reveal how they have navigated through to stay the course towards reaching their goals. And today we are thrilled to welcome the incredibly talented Miss Delta Dickerson. And she will have the opportunity to just share with us her wisdom. She's a powerhouse vocalist and performer who has shared the stage with legendary artists such as Patti LaBelle, Phil Perry, James Ingram, Stevie Wonder, and gospel icon Daryl Coley. She has also worked directly with James Ingram, Gladys Knight, Lou Gossett Jr., who could forget, showcasing her remarkable talent alongside of music's greatest names. So just a fun fact for you, Miss Delta will also be the voice of the jingle of the Wise Women Do podcast interview series. So we're very excited for that as we debut on that channel. We also be, in addition to the YouTube channel, we'll also be featured on Fave Unite FM and Wombology World broadcast networks to reach over 40 countries worldwide. So we're excited to have her. Welcome, Miss Delta Dickerson. Thank you. Well, we'll dive right in. Miss Delta, your career is nothing short of being extraordinary. So what inspired you to pursue music? It may have just been the fact that it was just who you were, but and step into the spotlight of performing.
Well, I didn't know that I was a singer. I was put in a community choir called the Prestonians at the age of 5. So my mother put me in a community choir. And at that point, that is when the director saw giftings that I had and actually began to cultivate that gift of leading songs. I was just singing in the choir at that time, and I didn't know I had a gift to lead or even do background. That was just something my mother enforced and put me and my sister into a community choir at the age of 5. And we began touring. Wow. I was on tour buses at the age of 5.
Wow.
Yes.
So your mom was there with you during that time of touring, and just this has to be an incredible and how gifted you had to be to be put into that huge platform at age 5. I'm fascinated.
5. Yes. It was pretty remarkable. And actually some of the artists now, even one of our directors, which you might have heard of, Jeffrey LaValle, that was one of our directors, one of our teachers. So I was actually trained at a very young age by Jeffrey LaValle, who has some great hits out that have been very successful. But he was one of the choir directors that trained us, and Miss O'Kelly, of course, Juanita O'Kelly and Horace O'Kelly, who taught the children, taught us at a young age how to sing and how to sit properly while you're singing and those type of things. So we learned protocol very young.
I love that. And, I always talk about how we all are given a gift. Yours, your gift, and you were able to nurture that from a very early age. And so the earlier we do discover that gift or someone recognizes that gift, it really does lead our lives to evolve into such bigger things that we never thought we'd ever achieve. So I just love the fact that you understood that so early. So but you've had an incredible opportunity to work with legends like James Ingram, Gladys Knight, Lou Gossett Jr., as well as share your stage with icons of Patti LaBelle and Stevie Wonder. Can you tell us about a memorable experience or a moment or lesson learned from working with these legendary artists?
Oh, wow. Man, it's so many moments. But I will say that I think one of my moments that I think I was on stage, and we were on stage at the Greek Theater in Los Angeles, in Hollywood, and we were doing a show with Patti LaBelle, and Patti was singing the song called Heaven. which
Okay.
LA Mass I used to sing in. We actually did the background on Heaven on that particular song. And so she's standing right next to me, center stage, and she's just belting this song to the point where I literally stopped singing. I was so mesmerized because it literally, if you're
Oh,
standing next to Patti LaBelle on and she's singing, the
yes.
power in her voice is it I just froze and I'm
Mm.
standing there on stage doing a show. I, and I literally stopped singing and just started just looking at her and because I couldn't believe the power and strength behind her vocals.
Mhm.
And the director's trying to get my attention to tell me to sing.
I sing. So
Right.
were you a backup singer when you were on stage with some of these artists, or how
I was a
where
backup singer. I was a backup
okay.
singer. I was singing with LA Mass at the time, and we
Okay.
were backing her up for a concert. She was in concert, and so we were
Yes.
backing her up on the song we actually recorded the background for her
Mm-hmm.
on Heaven. And so she was singing, and I'm just on the front row with her. She's right next to me, standing next to me with the microphone singing, and I lost it. So I would say that's one of my really really memorable moments is actually standing on
Yes.
that stage with Patty standing next to me and her
Mm.
singing, and the power behind her voice is
Mm-hmm.
something you've never it's just nothing like it. It's
Mm-hmm.
something I've never experienced before.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so I would say that's one of my most memorable. Of course, I sang 24 years with James Ingram, so there are
Oh my.
millions of memories with
Yes.
him. I got married, had my children, and everything else while I was with him. And
Wow.
yeah, so that was a pretty amazing time. I got a chance to sing on stage with him because we were at the Blue Note in
Mhm.
Los Angeles, Hollywood, and there was a breast cancer awareness um, fundraiser going on, and we were performing that day. And so Stevie Wonder came on stage and he's talking to James. What happened? I thought we were going to rehearse, and so he says we're going to do this song right now. And so he taught us a song. We learned it right there with him, and we
Mhm.
just rocked the stage right on with Stevie, and it was wonderful. It was
Oh my
great.
goodness.
It
Oh my
was great,
goodness. Well,
great.
that is incredible, and just such a memory that is to be in the presence of the power of her voice, of
Hmm.
Patty's voice, and just all of the that time that you've had with James Ingram, who we all, well,
Yes.
not all, those that were blessed to grow up with
All right.
that
Right.
smooth sound, because it's a blessing, because I don't know if it exists
Absolutely.
anymore today.
Yes.
Unfortunately,
Absolutely.
as
Absolutely.
definitely that drove a lot of us and really helped raise
Hmm.
us. But music is such a collaborative art form, as you just said, in regards to those that you have worked with. Has how has working with other artists shaped your approach to creativity and performance?
Oh, I've learned so much from the different artists I've worked with, from jazz artists to,
Mm-hmm.
you know, country artists, Neil Diamond. I mean, just it's
Wow.
so many artists I've worked with. And I've
Mm-hmm.
learned so because everyone is very unique in their own style and
Mm-hmm.
ability. Joshua Caddison, he's a jazz slash, reggae kind of like almost singer. And so
Okay.
by me getting the opportunity to work with so many different various artists,
Mm-hmm.
it gave me such a wide range of
Yes.
how to sing and what to sing,
Mm-hmm.
what to do when you're singing background. I learned a lot. Daryl Coley, I was called his floater.
Mm-hmm.
And so through working with Daryl Coley, that's how I learned how to sing so many parts because he called me the floater. And so I would sing soprano, alto, or tenor, or second
Oh,
soprano. And so by me learning all these different parts, because he was one that wanted 4-part, 5-part harmony on every song.
oh
If
wow.
anybody knows Daryl Coley's music. So because of that, I learned a lot of techniques,
Mm-hmm.
um, a lot of different ways to sing. I call Fred White my vocal coach. He's actually Diana Ross's musical director, but I learned so much from him.
Wow.
Fred White, I worked with him actually, we had a group at the age of 7 years old. So all the way up through my teenage, I was learning from different artists and just learning different styles of singing.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
it's very, very educating. And I appreciate the opportunity that I had, the
Yes.
doors that opened for me.
Yes, I'm sure a lot of artists, or not everyone, of course, has that luxury of being trained but in so many different ranges. Some people may just be a soprano or alto because that's
Mhm.
what their voice tells them they are. But I, is it a learned skill to go into another range? I'm
Well,
curious.
some people can sing whole things. You may be a soprano, but you make it a high soprano, a first soprano, they may call
Mm-hmm.
it. First soprano, second soprano, then you got your contralto, you got your altos, your tenors,
Mm-hmm.
bass. And so it depends on, some people can only sing soprano. They can't
Okay,
go any lower than a certain note,
sure.
or any higher than, a certain thing.
Mm-hmm.
You may sing tenor. You may be a lady that sings tenor and you can't do no alto notes. You
Right.
can do nothing in the middle.
I get
So
it.
I really say that it's a gift. It really
Yes.
is.
Yes.
I've sang tenor. When we did a live recording with Daryl, I was singing middle on the live recording, but
Mm-hmm.
we went back in the studio and re-recorded a lot of the music that had to be redone, and I
Oh my
did bottom.
goodness.
Me and him did the tenor part. So, I just learned, like, again, because I was singing with so many different artists and the talented Fred White. I have to give
Yes.
kudos to him because
Mm-hmm.
he taught me so much, as far as vocally, the different parts and how to sing so many different parts.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why when I'm even teaching music, when I was a praise and worship leader, I can
Yes.
teach all the parts because I
Okay.
know alto tenor, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, gift. I would say that's gifted as
Hmm.
well. That is certainly recognizing that gift that from the I am. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing
Hmm.
that. So every
Yeah.
artist does face challenges, I'm sure, along the way. Can you share a perceived roadblock or barrier that you encountered in your journey and how you broke through the glass ceiling to achieve your ultimate success?
I want to say I think the traveling,
Okay.
oftentimes the traveling, because especially once I moved south, I was no longer living in LA. So I would
Mm-hmm.
travel to Los Angeles and we would travel out of the country. And I think the thing was traveling home sometimes by myself, all the way from South Africa or traveling, back from South Asia. And I would
Mm-hmm.
have to travel alone, because the
Mm-hmm.
other part of the group was going all the way back to LA and I was traveling by
Mm-hmm.
myself. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that was the most challenging part because I didn't like to just be by myself coming out of another country.
Yes.
But I got through it, many years of it, many years of it. But I think
Yeah.
I would say that was one of my challenging
Mm-hmm.
things. But um, yeah, I would say,
Okay. And that's the
you
nature
know,
of the business is traveling, I would imagine,
the
but the
nature of
fear
the
factor, I would imagine the fear factor of having to do it alone and then you do it and you're like, okay, it's not as bad as I thought it might be, but I could
right.
see that being that little bit of fear that might be, because you had not done it before.
Absolutely, because you can be in Instaball. Say you're in Instaball, Turkey,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you have a long layover, and you see all, it's all the different people from just most of the people are
Yeah.
from that country, and they're in their garb and everything, and you're just
Hmm.
you got a 5 hour, 6 hour layover, and you're just waiting, you waiting to get back to the States, and the whole
I'd have a
group
little fear.
gone somewhere else.
Yes. Well, congratulations. And so I'm breaking through that barrier because I can see.
Absolutely.
Well, you've performed alongside some of the biggest names in music. How do you stay grounded and focused while navigating the pressures of the industry?
Prayer.
Oh, wow.
Prayer
Yes.
and faith,
Yes, ma'am.
and then you don't change who you are.
Mm,
I never compromised who I was, my character, my
yes.
integrity. I
Mhm.
did not compromise that. So when I left, I was who I was when I left. And while I was there, If anything else was going on, I'd go to my room. I'd go to my hotel room. It's like, oh
Mm,
no, 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 I'm not,
yes.
not gonna. So I was very, very selective in who I entertained. I met
Okay.
many people from all over the world, but I was still very selective.
Mm-hmm.
And give your information to and that type of thing. You had to be very, very careful.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and then we were very. It was most of the people I worked with. It was really family.
Okay.
And especially all the singers, we would get together the band, so you're not alone. But at the
Yes.
same token, you keep that standard and that integrity going, and you stand by it no matter what.
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
that's what helped me stay grounded no matter what. I did
Mm-hmm.
not change who I was, the character of who I was, and what I believed in, and what was
Mm-hmm.
right, what was wrong that I felt, so
Yes.
it kept
Yes.
planet really, really solid there.
I love it. I love it. The
Hmm.
roots are go deep, and then the value and the recognition of discernment is definitely high valued there as well.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Because, you're
Wonderful.
out on the road, you got those groupies, you got all,
Yes.
and you can have the opportunity to, you walking down the street and people asking you if you want this and you want
Mm-hmm.
that. And,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
especially when you're in those world countries,
Yes, ma'am.
Bangkok and things like that. They're trying to pull on you. You want to come over
Yeah.
here? We got
Yeah.
this, we want to. So you just have to just stay grounded, stay
Yes.
focused, you know what your purpose is, what you're there
Mm-hmm.
for,
Yes, ma'am.
and do it. And we,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed it. I loved it. I loved
Mm-hmm.
it. And I worked with some amazing artists who made it
Yes.
so wonderful.
Mm-hmm. And what a blessing to really travel the world, with everything that you've been through and all how many years have you been in the industry?
Whew. I started when I was 5 years old. Oops, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm in my 60s now.
Oh, wow.
Uh, I've been doing this a long
Oh,
time. So I want
mm.
to say when I first got the first opportunity to start touring and going on the road, I was about 28.
Wow.
28, 20, about 29, because I was getting ready to get married, and then all of a sudden I got a phone call, because a lot of times it's all about who you know. It's about referral.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
got one phone call that changed my entire life. I mean, I didn't go to a perm for probably 15 or 16 years after that, after
Hmm.
one phone call,
Wow.
you know. Um, just one opportunity. Somebody gave my name or called me, hey, can you do an 8-city tour with Phil Perry and Dave Koz? And next
Wow.
thing I know, I was on it was just an 8-city tour. But while I was on the tour, they were like, hey, we're going to Japan. Can you go to Japan? And then
Yes.
after that, well, we're going on a whole summer tour. So I had to make a decision to
Yes.
when I was going to quit my job. And I was in marketing. I was doing marketing, full-time
Mm-hmm.
job.
Mm-hmm.
And so I prayed about it. And my fiance at that time, now my husband, says,
Yes.
babe, you've been wanting to do this, just go for it.
Yo, beautiful. That
And
is
I did.
beautiful. As you were telling that, sharing that story, I was thinking about, oh, she had to stop and take time to get married, but you had a supportive
Yeah.
love of your life in your life that, encouraged you to continue forward. So I
Hmm.
love that.
Right. And
Absolutely.
then I work with artists that they had families too. So
Mm-hmm.
James Ingram was he's a family man anyways.
Sure.
He was a family man. And
Yes.
so he was like, I said, well, James, I got bring the baby. My sister's going to be there. They can watch the baby. Bring the baby. So my son had a passport, even with Daryl Coley. I took my son to Kobe, Japan. He went to Okinawa, Japan. He went everywhere. He had a passport at 4 months old.
Mm-hmm.
And he
Wow.
was on the road with me. He got a lot of traveling in.
I bet he did. I bet he did. And I love the family atmosphere. And I imagine that just being one of the fans out in the audience watching those great names, I imagine they are real people and they care about,
Absolutely.
the family that you are. So what a
Yes.
testament though to the power of being in the right place at the right time and really just opportunity, cracking the door of opportunity. And I talk about that a lot in regards to the responsibility of those who are successful and really just reaching over, reaching up, reaching down, wherever you got
Mhm.
to reach. But it is your responsibility to crack the door of opportunity for
Absolutely.
someone else. So
Absolutely.
wholeheartedly.
Absolutely.
Well, for those who listening, who has a dream, who have a dream for pursuing a career in music, what advice would you give to an aspiring, person who's looking to get into the industry?
I always say follow your dreams,
Mm,
go for if that's in your heart and that's what you want to do.
yes, ma'am.
You start get your headshot done,
Mm-hmm.
get your little portfolio if you've done anything, even if it's something just at your church that you've done.
Yes,
Start
ma'am.
getting a little bio together, get your little, your headshot, your black and white headshot together. And it's all about networking.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
bet a lot of people just there's a lot of network groups that have things going on where you're networking. You go to the concerts, you may go to the shows,
Mm-hmm.
go to that person's show. You'd be surprised when you go to a show, there's people right in your surroundings that are in the music industry. And somebody may be saying, "Oh, I need a background singer." I got gigs just being in places,
Mm-hmm.
where I'm looking for a background singer for such and such. Or I mean, there's times I even went to a session once with a friend of mine. I went to a session with them. They were booked for a session, but the person that was in the session couldn't get the part correct. And they were like, "Well, does the girl that's out there that came with you, does she sing?" He sings.
And
Well,
boy,
why
oh
can't she
boy, does
sing?
she sing. She's a powerhouse. Oh my word. They got much
You know,
more than they thought they were getting, I'm sure.
So, a lot of times it's where you are, it's networking, it's who you know.
Yes.
You know, I got in the door because of friends I had. I had friends that sang for Steve, that were actually background singers for Stevie Wonder, for
Mhm.
Phil Collins, and for everybody in the world. So if they got a call and someone said they needed somebody,
Yes.
I they will call. Well, we're going to call her. That's how I
Hmm.
end up getting with James Ingram. It was behind my friend Bridget, who couldn't do the gig because
Hmm.
she had some other things doing. She was doing that particular summer, and she says, "Well, call." She tells the manager, Wilbur Terrell, who actually is the manager for Earth, Wind, and Fire, where he was.
Okay.
He's gone. He's
Yes.
rest his soul. He's passed now, but he
Hmm.
was the road manager at that time for James Ingram. Well, next
Okay.
thing I know, I get a call. Can you come in and fill in for her? I said,
Hmm.
sure. But when I got there, there's a whole line of people there. And I was like, oh, okay. There is auditions. And they were like, no, you're not auditioning. They have to blend with you. You got a
Yes.
referral. Yeah, you got a referral from Bridget Bryan. We don't need to know anything else
Okay.
because you were referred by her.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's doors like that. And the same
Mm.
thing happened when I got with Phil and
Hmm.
Dave Koz. That was a referral from Fred White. Well, Fred
Hmm.
White sings, he's like one of the number one background singers,
Yeah.
has sang for everybody. So
Yes.
that one call he made and says, "Hey, I got somebody that can sing, that can go." I never even sang for them. I just came straight to the rehearsal and was given
No
the material.
audition needed. None.
No, no, it
The
was just
power
by
of a referral and
recommendation.
opening the doors. I love that. Yes.
So networking and getting
Hmm.
in there with people, networking. You'd be surprised. They say that
Hmm.
you're only 5 people away from
That's
who
so
you trying to
true.
get in touch with.
That's so true. So true.
Mhm.
And what people don't realize also is that they have 250 people in their circle of influence that they may or not think about, whatever things you do in your life, you have that many people in your network as well. 5 people
Mhm.
away, meaning someone's got to tell somebody and you make those connections, but you have
Right.
this network that you're really not thinking of as a network. And sometimes you just got to put it out in the universe and
Put
see
it
what
out there.
happens.
Put it out there. You can put it on your Facebook. I
That's
tell people,
right.
you can start singing a song on one day a week on
Yes.
your Instagram.
Yes.
Okay, you're trying to get something going. You got a Facebook account. You can go
Hmm.
look on your Facebook and see,
Absolutely, you can.
inspirational Sundays and do one song once a week.
That's right.
Somebody is going to hear you
Hmm.
and somebody's going to say something. So
That's right.
Putting your
That's
voice
right.
out there. You can, there's a lot of things that you can do. There's like I said, people do weddings, gig salad. You can put your portfolio on
Mm-hmm.
gigsalad.com. Go on that. Put your portfolio out there. Put your music or tape of yourself singing.
Mm-hmm.
Might have done. People are always looking for somebody to do something for their event.
They
You know,
really are.
for
They
a
really are.
wedding, for you know, even
And
a
bottom
funeral
line,
home.
just do something, you know,
Mhm.
do something.
Just
And
don't
that
stop. Do
I
something.
work, don't stop. And I work with startups who, or people even at the passion state, and they know they're passionate about something. And we talk about a go to market strategy. Like, how do you introduce yourself to make sure that
Right.
you have an impact on them? And it really is about, creating that plan also in regards to, but do something, until you get there, do something.
Right. Get your business card. Get your little business card. I used to got me a business card. I would pass it
Mm-hmm.
out and say,
Yes.
I do weddings. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I do, memorials, that kind of thing. You can go to the funeral homes and put your cards there. You can go
Wow.
to, yeah, you'd be
There's all
surprised.
kind of ideas. Awesome ideas. Awesome.
Hmm.
Awesome.
Hmm.
Well, we know that music has the power to bring people together, and it
Yes.
really can inspire change. So, how do you see your
Hmm.
music impacting the communities you perform?
Oh, wow. Well, I see my music. Actually, I had started on a project called The Sound of Music.
Oh,
Okay.
mm-hmm.
So I'm collaborating some songs together, The Sound of Music, because I believe music has a sound, and
Yes.
everybody's style has a sound that I think that radiates with the hearts of people. So
Yes.
I think that, with the songs and the things that I have done in the community, even since I've been here in Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
the productions I have done, Go Back and Get God, and A Praying Mother. I've done some
Mm-hmm.
productions, some plays, and I just
Mm-hmm.
believe that the songs that I brought to the forefront, or I brought to the production, as far as the arrangement or anything like that, that I may have contributed.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was heartfelt, and I believe it was touching, and
Yes.
I believe it was life changing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think when your heart is in it, and your heart is toward God, and
Yes,
when you're
ma'am.
ministering to people, whether that be a gospel song or whether that be a R&B song,
Mm-hmm.
it's because a lot of people feel like, if you're not saying God or you're not saying Jesus, and it's not a song that can touch the heart.
Mm.
It's so many songs that can touch. I mean, we all experienced that with Jamal Roberts that just won on American Idol. He sang
Yes.
"Healed, Heal."
Yes.
It's this song. 21-year-old guy at the time when he wrote it, he didn't think. He said he wrote that song 20 some years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but that song "Heal,"
Mm-hmm.
it's universal.
Yes.
So I think it's the songs, it's the words in our song, and it's the spirit behind it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the heart behind
Absolutely,
it.
because spirit transcends. So that's what you're
Yes.
sending. I just when you say the sound of music and then your description of it, it takes my
Mhm.
mind, and it may be where you are, to the place of how these, whether the different genres and how they touch people. Is that kind of when you say the sound of music, whether it's gospel or reggae, or but the ones, that really, maybe you select certain songs that do have that
Yes.
meaning, but that can pull that out. Maybe there's some strategy
Absolutely.
there, but also the sounds of music in total
Hmm.
moves you.
It does. It does. Because you can
Mm-hmm.
think of so many songs that I think of songs that are not even gospel songs that are just
Yes.
make me cry.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
mean, you know, they just the
Mm-hmm.
lyrics on them. You
Yes.
think about the Bergmans, who wrote a lot of songs for Barbara Streisand. Actually, they wrote "How Do You Keep the Music Playing" that James Ingram sings.
Okay.
And when you think of songs and I was trying to think of one of the songs that Barbara Streisand sings,
Mm-hmm.
but oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank on one of her songs, but
Oh.
uh, mm,
And I should be able to. It's been Let's see.
Barbara Streisand. I love Barbara Streisand.
Mm.
Barbara Streisand. Barbara Streisand songs are those type of songs that reach the heart.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, you know, like for it, and I think Gabby even sang one of her songs, "Rain on My Parade."
Okay.
You know, and you think of those type of songs, "Don't Rain on My Parade." You know, you can think of so many things to relate that to. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to let anybody rain on my parade.
Yeah,
You know, that you celebrating yourself, but you're not going to let anybody rain on your parade.
that's right.
And
That's right.
and so I can just say that a lot of times songs are heartfelt that
Mm-hmm.
are not gospel songs per
That's
se,
right. That's right.
but you know,
And I would imagine just because we are at a certain age and the fact that we grew up in the 70s, 80s, 90s, particularly the 70s, 80s, and
right.
60s, probably even in the songs that we just thinking back on some of those beautiful songs,
Hmm.
the memories that touch our hearts. Do we remember where we were exactly with
Right,
who? I mean, that is so heartfelt as well. So,
right,
it does. Music transcends, as we said.
right. It's evergreen. That's it. I just thought about
Okay.
evergreen.
Yes.
Love soft as an easy chair. I mean, when
Hmm.
you think about those lyrics, you're like, what?
Yes. Yes.
Love fresh
Wow.
as the morning air. Those are you.
Mm.
It's beautiful.
It is
And I
beautiful.
sang. I had the opportunity once to sing with Roberta Flack,
Ooh.
and I'm in
Mm.
rehearsal with a box of Kleenex
Oh, goodness.
because oh my God. I mean, if her songs don't transcend or don't move you or touch
That's
you,
right.
it's just amazing.
Yes.
Uh,
That's
you know,
such a beautiful blessing that you have
yes.
lived your story, definitely. And so I do thank very much so our producer of this show, Linda J. Thomas, Miss Delta, in regards to bringing us together in your beautiful voice. And you're going to be the jingle of our show. How do you feel about that? And do people approach you in regards to being a jingle of their whatever they may have? I just wanted it, and Linda
Yeah,
said
to
I've
ask
got
me
the
to do
right
a
person.
jingle. I did. You know what? I put together. We were doing a friend of mine was doing a little thing he was doing, and he said, "Delta, I need some airplane music, like some airplane." And I was the voiceover for the airplane music and
Yes,
stuff. And I was like,
ma'am.
"Buckle your seats and stuff." Da, 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 da. Um, I'm excited about it. I'm really excited about it. I'm going to really put some things together and really, now
Oh,
that I got the heart of what you're doing and what
yes,
it's about,
ma'am.
and wise women do so much, you
Yes.
know, and they arise to the occasion time after time. So I am
Hmm.
going to be putting my best foot forward to put some things together for
Oh, we
you
are
and
so
present it and see what you
excited.
think.
We are excited, and whatever you bring to us and to the table, we are just going to be elated. Elated, I assure you. So in regards to how people can find you, your social media, or anything you'd like them to know, or something you may have coming up soon that you want our listening audience to pay attention to, please share.
Okay, they can get me on Instagram,
Mhm.
delta.d. That's
Okay.
my little tag there, delta.d. And
Okay.
also I'm on Twitter and under that same delta.d. And
Okay.
yeah, just the D, just the letter D, not the DEE. But you can
Okay.
find me on Facebook too. And I'm under
Okay.
Delta Dickerson on Facebook. I'm also there.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that I'm actually getting ready to work with Linda to some more acting. I started some acting out here and got a chance to participate in Coming to America too.
Oh,
as a
wow.
dignitary's wife. So I got a chance to do that and meet Eddie Murphy and everybody else on the set.
Wonderful.
Oh, that was just amazing. That was amazing. And like I said, sometimes when you get in your heart and you say what you want to do, you know,
Mm-hmm.
again, you put that out there in the atmosphere.
Yes, ma'am.
And you when you go to God about it, I got the opportunity, the door open. Linda had mentioned it to me, and I said, well, I said I looked at that, but I think they want really smaller girls, much petite. And I
Mm-hmm.
called it to my surprise, they were like, "Oh, we need you to come down, come down." And so I didn't know I had it, and they were like, oh, "Okay, no, we're sending you straight to the fitting room, try on costumes." I was
Wow.
like, "Wow!" And the next thing I
Amazing.
know, as it got time for filming day, I didn't know I was just an extra. But then all of a sudden, I walk in on another scene, and the director pulls me out of 200 people,
Oh.
200 extras, and said, I need you to come here. I need you to
Wow.
be a dignitary wife, and I need you to be in this particular scene."
Oh my.
Just out of the blue.
Just like
Now,
that.
I was feeling like the least prettiest because everybody else had these fabulous outfits on and the hairdos, and I felt like
Mm-hmm.
my outfit was like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I wasn't feeling like I just didn't feel like my outfit was as nice as everyone else's.
And look at the
And
favor of you.
he says, "I want you right here. Here, you come here." And I'm just shaking like a leaf because I didn't know if I had did something wrong or what. But I was
Yes.
in the background and I couldn't see the prince and the princess. And I said, "Well, gosh, I can't even see her dress." Everybody was up in the front and crowded, and I just stood in the back. And I said, "Well, I guess when the movie comes out, I can see what she had on, her
Mm-hmm.
dress."
Mm-hmm.
I never thought in a million years that I was going to actually be greeting them in the movie in Coming to
Wow.
America too. And
Wow.
and then they made a decision that, hey, we're going to greet you and we're going to wave at everybody else, but we're going to say something to you. And
Okay.
so, yes, that gave me a little feature right there. And I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. So things happen, when you believe.
Oh, when you believe. Oh my Lord. Beautiful. That's just beautiful. Wow. Well, we can't wait to see you in the upcoming show. Is there anything else? Was there something else that you
Oh,
have
anything else?
coming up?
Well, what I'm doing now is I just finished a project with Lawrence E.
Oh,
Hill,
okay.
called Worry About Nothing, Pray About Everything. So,
Okay.
and I just did all the background for that particular single that's released. It's on iTunes. It's out there on Spotify. Thing out there,
Hmm.
Lawrence E. I'm doing background on there, so you'll get a chance to hear some of my background vocals, and I'm doing some featured runs and stuff like that on that particular project. And so support him. But and so he's moving forward with some other things, and I actually want to work on a single myself this year.
Oh, wow. So that is a question. Have you, over all of these years, have you put out a single or your own
I
music thus
have,
far?
I have not. I have
Oh,
music. I did not. Can you believe that? I never.
no.
I, you know what? And two, that can happen too, because sometimes, you can be backgrounding so till you forget all about doing anything for yourself. And
Yes.
because I loved it so. I
Yes.
love
Yes.
background singing.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I love being a background vocalist. And then too, I did duets. Like I said, I did duets with James
Mm-hmm.
Ingram, and he took me all over the world. I sang. He told me I would. He would. He said, "I'm going to take you everywhere with me." And I thought he was kidding after I moved,
Mm-hmm.
but he was not kidding. When I moved out of Los Angeles, he said, "And you're just a plane ride away. So I'm
That's
still gonna
right.
call you." But I never well, I won't say I didn't do anything because I did do a couple songs of my own. I did record a few songs. I just
Okay.
didn't release them anywhere, but I did record them.
Okay.
And so just be looking out for something. I'm gonna try to do
We
something this year, really, for real.
please do. Please do. And the brilliant thing about that is that you could do all ranges on your own music.
Right,
So
right. Right.
phenomenal, so talented, and we're so blessed to have had your incredible insights, your beautiful story, and your journey. So thank you again, Miss
Welcome.
Delta Dickerson, for joining us on the
Yes.
Wise Women Do podcast interview series. So
My pleasure.
hang around just a moment, and I'm going to get a couple
Okay.
pictures. And thank you all for joining us once again. We really appreciate it, and look out for our next episode coming soon. Thank you.